thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is a subject that is very sensitive, I know, for a lot of people, but it's also a subject that's very needed, especially in this time of physical distancing, quarantine, people fearing for their health because of COVID-19. And so, I just wanted to come on here for a little bit and, if anyone has any questions or comments about, situations that are going on in your own households, if you know someone that has died because of COVID-19, or maybe just died during this time of practicing physical distancing, and how difficult it can be to be able to mourn your loved ones during this time. So I just want to first talk about unresolved grief, because I think that is a huge part of this whole situation that we're in with loved ones dying around this time. And so in grief recovery, we talk about unresolved grief as all of the undelivered communication, all of the things that we wish we could have done different, better, or more. And all of the loss of hope, dreams, and expectations. But during this time of COVID-19 and all of the things that we need to do to stay inside and to not be close to people, now unresolved grief takes on a different meaning during this time, where we have the inability to say goodbye in the manner that we're used to. There's going to be a lot of incomplete or unresolved grief during this time because of what we have to deal with in regards to having funerals, having memorial services, or even your loved ones going into the hospital and not being able to be with them. Up until, today, I still don't have an immediate family member that has gone into the hospital, and I am grateful for that. Does that mean that that's not going to happen? It doesn't mean that. We're all going to experience knowing someone that is going to die or has died during this period in our lives. It's such an unprecedented time for humanity, and everything that we remember about what it means to grieve, to mourn, to be there for our loved ones does not exist in our world today. And so saying goodbye takes on a whole new meaning now. Normal rituals, things that we are used to, right? Culturally, if you're chiming in and you're from Guam, right? I always used to tell people that if I'm going to die, there's no other place that I'd rather die than on Guam, because of the community, because of the family, because of the support that we have. When Frank died, I never sat down once at his funeral, because the constant flow of people that came in to pay their respects, to show their love for us, to show their love for Frank, was evident at the entire time that the services were going on. And I am very grateful that I was able to have that for him, to be able to honor him in that way. And it makes me very sad to know that people that are dying today are not going to be able to have that kind of tribute, that kind of honoring before they die. I was talking to some people that I know that have experienced their loved ones that have died during this time. And it's all over the globe, not just in Guam, but all over the globe. So I just want to give a shout out and show so much gratitude to our medical professionals that are out there. They are doing not only the most difficult thing by being in these hospitals and these clinics and putting their own lives at risk, but the humanity is coming out so much in these people right now, down to, being with the loved ones that are not even their loved ones, it's someone else's loved one, and standing by them. They are the ones that are there as they take their final breath. They're there, with phones up to their patients' faces so that they could say goodbye to their loved ones through a phone, through FaceTime, through WhatsApp video calling. And these are the ways that we're saying goodbye right now, right? And so it's really, really difficult because it's not what we're used to. The normal and natural way that we're used to saying our goodbyes to loved ones doesn't exist. Being able to go to a hospital and visit someone that is sick doesn't exist. So you don't even have to have COVID-19. If you have to go into a hospital around this time, it's so lonely. One of my really, really good friends and grief recovery sister, Michelle Sasimoto, was in the hospital a couple weeks ago. And, my heart broke having to listen to her on the phone and cry. And just that she was so alone in that hospital, and she didn't have COVID. She had another health condition, but even so, she couldn't have anyone go to the hospital and be with her. And I can't even imagine how lonely that is for someone and how scary that is for someone. And so grief takes on a different meaning for us in today's world. And in fact, it's facing us right in our face. It's that elephant in the room that's actually making some noise now for every single person. And so, coming back to the subject of the impact that what we're going through in the world today has on the bereaved, I just want, to give you this message of hope and encouragement that if you are someone that is in the middle of dealing with a loved one that has died and in a lonely place, in a very heartbreaking place because you can't honor your loved one in the manner that you would like to, in the manner that you remember that it should be happening, I want you to know that feeling sad, feeling angry, feeling heartbroken, feeling helpless, feeling confused, feeling alone, that's all normal feelings to have, right? You don't have to be okay with it. We still have to practice physical distancing. We still have to follow the guidelines that are put in place by our different governments that are out there to make sure that we're all keeping safe. But it doesn't mean that you disregard your human emotions. They're very real, and they're very normal for you to have during these times. And so everyone is experiencing it across the globe, not being able to travel and be with your loved ones during this time, right? I was talking to my mom the other day, and she's so heartbroken because one of her friends died and she can't even go down and offer condolences, right? The simple act of giving a hug and crying with people that are hurting, offering to bring food and to be there in their time of need. We can't do that anymore. And so we're forced to suffer alone. And in grief recovery, we say that isolation is one of the things that we do as grievers. And we always say that you shouldn't have to feel alone. You shouldn't have to be alone. And the opposite of isolation is participation. It's really difficult to participate, right, in our world today. It really is. And so physical isolation and emotional isolation is something that we can't get away from. It's something that we can't control. It's out of our control. So I want to just hold space for all of you that are suffering right now. And just know that everything that you're feeling is yours to feel. You have a right. Acknowledge those feelings and allow your body to just feel them and own them and process them. Because I think that is probably the best thing that you could do for yourself right now. So right now we are definitely in a time where we are suffering a new type of grief and loss, a new level of grief and loss, something that we have never experienced before in the history of humanity. And, I'm not here to tell you that it's going to get any easier, because it's not, right? And grief isn't meant to be easy anyway, but it is definitely much harder and more difficult to manage because it's not something that we're used to. We can't just lean on our loved ones' shoulders and cry with them. Even if you're gathering at a funeral and you are immediate family members. And I think when I was on messaging with Sharon from One Word earlier, she talked about how we can only have gatherings of 10. I didn't realize that it was that little. I thought it was gatherings of 50. So it changed to gatherings of 10 now. And So how difficult is that for funeral homes and cemeteries to have to deal with trying to accommodate small families like that when we're so used to having big gatherings during times like this. And so it's difficult for them. And, I can't even imagine how difficult it is for you guys, Sharon, and your staff at Guam Windward, to have to do this and watch the faces of families break even more. Their hearts are hurting because they can't even touch each other during these services, right? They can't hug or shake hands or kiss each other in the cheek. You have to literally stay away from each other. You have to wear masks. You have to go up and view the body one at a time. I mean, these are things that we're not used to. And so it is definitely a change that we're having to deal with. We're having to support our loved ones from afar. And for those of us that may not be experiencing a loved one that is immediate to us, but we've got friends and family that are out there that are experiencing this, and we just want to be there with them. We just want to comfort them in their time of mourning, and we can't. We have to do it from afar. And that also brings grief for those of us that are having to do that from afar, because our hearts break. We're grieving right along with the families, right? It's a different grief, but nonetheless, it's still grief. And so there's definitely a lot of things that are going to bring on more grief for us in this environment than just the death of a loved one. Than just someone going into the hospital and not being able to be with them. The physical distancing, not being able to gather, not being able to do the normal rituals that we are used to having when someone dies. All of those things have now brought on more grief for us as human beings. And so I just want to again offer some hope and encouragement that yes, it is definitely going to be difficult, but we can still be creative during these times. I've actually already seen some of it online. A friend of mine lost her grandbaby just last week, I believe, and I was watching the live footage of the service and the burial, and I was so honored that I could watch and just be there from afar and hold space for her and her family from afar. It was hard to watch that. It was hard to watch that they couldn't have everybody there to be there with them in their time of great sorrow. But it was also heartwarming to see that we can be creative as a human race and still do things to connect with each other. So right now, social media, our smartphones, these are ways that we can stay connected. And I want to encourage all of you to please do that. When you know someone that is sick in the hospital, when you know someone that their loved one has died, please reach out. I know that before COVID-19, it was one of those things where we said, I'm just going to give them time. Just going to give them time. They need some time alone. Let me just tell you that grievers do not need time alone, especially right now. We need time to connect. And even if we can't connect physically, we can connect virtually, right? A text message, a phone call, a comment on their post. When they're posting on social media about their heart being broken, about their loved one that had died, these are opportunities for us to reach out and give our condolences. If you know their loved one, share a memory with them. Sharon had also mentioned, let me see if she posted it here. Yes, she did. So if you guys are reading the comments in the feed, they are offering free memorial websites and live streaming for anyone that is going to be buried at Guam Windward Memorial. Bless your heart. That is amazing to have that. My friend Ginger here has said, yes, it's all around us. And like you said, even if they don't have it, my heart breaks imagining all the elderly who can't have their family visit. Yes, it is. It's so heartbreaking to see all of these things. I was watching someone on Facebook live the other day, didn't even know the person, but their feed just popped up and this poor man was crying because he lost his mom and he couldn't even be there to say goodbye. And so things like that just rip your heart into pieces, whether you know the person or not. So this is a time for us to really dig deep and reach into our humanity and show compassion to everybody that we can, even complete strangers. Michelle had mentioned that she had put a live video out there, to talk about her journey in the hospital, the fears that she was going through, all of the sadness and the grief that she was feeling, and complete strangers reaching out to her. And that was just super, super amazing. And so, there is ways that you can reach out to people, even complete strangers. Live streams, prayers, live stream of funerals, the memorial pages that Sharon had talked about, but you can also create your own. Frank died 5 years ago, and I wouldn't have known that this was going to happen in our lifetime, but I actually have a memorial page for him on Facebook. It's a private Facebook group for everyone that knew Frank, or anyone that was in my family or that knew me, and it's a private memorial page where we honor him. Every chance we get, we share pictures, we share videos, we share memories, and so these are things that you can do as well. You can create these pages on Facebook. You can create a page from a free site on the internet. Guan Word is also offering that again for those of you that are burying your loved ones up there. I know that Frank's got a page there, and I still have yet to fill that page up with pictures and things like that, but I definitely want to do that. But again, just, doing things that are creative without minimizing the feelings that you have, right? It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to feel bad that you can't give your loved ones the memorial that they deserve in this lifetime. And but we are coming up with some very creative ways. We're human beings, and we do have a tendency to push beyond our limits and to think outside the box when we are faced in a corner and not being able to do the things that we're normally used to doing, and especially when it comes to showing love and compassion to others in their time of need, in their time of sorrow. And so, again, if you are one of them that are going through this heartbreak in your life, if your loved one has died during this lifetime, COVID or not COVID, another type of health condition, but they still died during this lifetime, you still can't have your regular funeral, your regular masses or rosaries, or however way you do to honor them. Those rituals can exist, or if they do, it's very, very limited. So be okay with feeling disappointed. Be okay with feeling upset about it. Be okay with being pissed off about it, right? Those are your own human emotions to acknowledge. Let it flow through you. And then together as a family, as a community, come up with ways that you could still honor your loved ones, right? We are a human race that will always be out there to fight. To fight, guys. We got to fight. Fight for what is meaningful to us. Hi, Mom. Fight for what we believe in. Fight for compassion. Fight for humanity. Embrace grief. I don't know how else to put it, but we are a grieving human race, and we're going to be for a long time, even after COVID-19 disappears. All of these past few weeks, the course of months, however long you've been going through this, those feelings of grief are going to be with us until we learn to heal from them. And so, I want to offer you a heart with ears. That's what we call it, the grief recovery method. We call it being a heart with ears. And so if you are suffering right now today because of a loved one that has died or is in the hospital, and you're filled with overwhelming feelings, sometimes anxiety and panic attacks come on more frequently, or maybe you're someone that's never had it before and now you're feeling it. It's because of all of the human emotions that you're going through right now, and you have maybe no way of knowing how to deal with them, right? You were never taught the right way. And so I just want to encourage you to reach out. I have a team of grief recovery specialists. You might know one of them. Give them a call, message them on Facebook. You're always welcome to call me as well. I'm on the other side of the world, completely different time zone from you. But nonetheless, I'm always here, always open to be a heart with ears for all of you. If there is a subject that you want me to cover next week, because I have committed that I'm going to come on Facebook Live at least once or twice a week to talk about different things around how COVID-19 is impacting our lives, whatever that may be, right? And so let me know, drop me a message and let me know if there's something specific that you want me to talk about. Let's see, what did Sharon say? So after this is all over, we're going to be offering post-COVID-19 graveside memorial services for our families. Not sure exactly how that will look, but we are working on it. You guys are amazing. This is why I have Frank buried up there. It took me 3 years to bury my husband because I just didn't feel like he belonged in a cemetery. But let me just tell you, I don't work for Guam One Word. They're not paying me to put this out there, but my husband is up there, so it's through my own lived experience that it's such a peaceful place, and it is not like any other cemetery that I've ever seen in my lifetime. And so it's amazing. If you've never taken a ride up to Guam Windward Memorial when COVID-19 is lifted, you have an opportunity, please take a ride up there, take a drive and walk around the grounds. It's peaceful, it's surreal. I never mind going to Guam Windward and visiting with Frank and hanging out there. Sometimes I would eat lunch up there or breakfast, bring my coffee and just hang out and talk with him. And I feel good. It's a good feeling to be up there, and it's beautiful. If you want to put your loved one at a beautiful place that really just honors who they are as a person, it's a really, really good place to be at. John says, spoken like a true compassionate survivor. Air hugs to all who are feeling overwhelmed. Thank you for doing this, sister. Thank you, brother. I love you so much. And again, guys, after Frank died, I realized that this is definitely my calling. This is definitely my purpose in life, to give grief a voice, to let everyone know that grief is very normal and natural. I can talk about grief all day. I can sit on here and talk about it all day. And it's a subject that most people don't like to talk about. But I'm going to tell you that it is normal. It's natural. It's not morbid. And right now, during this time of practicing sheltering in place, that grief, whatever it is, whether it's your fears, whether it's past losses, it's sitting on your couch. It's sitting on your dining room table. It's sitting on the edge of your bed. It's waiting for you in the shower. It's there. Grief is not leaving us alone in these times. So please don't deny your grief. Don't deny your human emotions. Just allow them to process through your body. And if you feel like it's too overwhelming and you can't handle it, or if you just need someone to talk to, and maybe your family members are not the right people, because sometimes they're not. I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes the people that you're closest to are not always necessarily the people that make you feel safe enough to talk about those human emotions. This is why I'm always on here telling you guys, I could be your heart with ears. Drop me a message. Let me know what you need to let out. Yesterday, I had a call with some of my team from the grief recovery specialist team on Guam and Saipan, and we're human beings. Just because we have the method and the tools that we use on ourselves and that we use to help others doesn't mean that we're not going to feel grief. And my heart was hurting the entire time that I was on this call with these ladies because I felt their pain. We are all like pressure cookers waiting for someone to just listen to what we have to say to allow those human emotions to come out. And so if you don't have a safe person to talk to, reach out to the Grief Recovery Guam and CNMI page on Facebook or on Instagram. Message us. We'll put you on the phone with someone. We can't deliver the message for you, the method to you right now in person. We do have a few that can do it online, including myself. But even if you're not ready for something like that and you just want someone to be there for you when you're crying, when you're talking about your loved ones, when you're talking about your fears, we're there for you. We're there for you, and it doesn't cost you anything. So give us a call or shoot us a message and let us know. Okay, so for now, guys, I just want to say I'm holding space in my heart for all of you. If you know someone that has died, that is suffering from COVID-19, that has gotten ill from some other health condition during this time in our lives, please reach out, hold space for them, be a heart with theirs, don't judge, don't tell them how to feel. Everybody's emotional journey is their own, it's unique to each of us. Acknowledge their pain, and just let them know that you love them. And I'm offering all of you virtual hugs. And until next time, take care. I love you guys.